Lucian Freud has been interpreted in many ways, in a biographical way, psychological way, because of his grandfather. And maybe in this moment, in the 21st century, we should look at him as a painter that would talk about the creative procedure of a painter. I am Paloma Alarcó, the Chief Curator of Modern Painting here at the Museo Nacional Thyssen-Bornemisza. The Thyssen Museum is joining the National Gallery in this centenary exhibition, Lucian Freud New Perspectives. There are 3 paintings from the Thyssen collection that are in the exhibition. Reflection with 2 children, large interior Paddington, and a portrait of Baron Thyssen. Apart from those 3, the collection has other 2, the last portrait and another portrait of Baron Thyssen, a head portrait. Lucian Freud intrigued me very much. He's an artist that doesn't follow any of the avant-garde trends and creates a complete new language. His painting talked of painting. He showed us his artistic process, and we can discover many clues of what he's doing just looking at his paintings. Freud made a lot of self-portraits, and this one can give us clues of a new style in painting. He starts painting up. Before, normally he was sitting on a chair, and he is using a much looser technique, thicker brush, with much more paint on the brush. Another way of looking at this painting is to try to understand how he painted himself. What's the procedure? We discover, because we see a little part of the frame, that he's painting himself looking at the floor. He has put the mirror on the floor. In the left side, 2 kids appear, Rose and Ali, his children. Lucian has always preferred his intimate world. His relatives, his lovers, his friends, to paint portraits. But from time to time, he was able to accept some commissions, and Baron Thyssen had the privilege of being one of them. The portrait of Baron Thyssen, installed in the power section of the exhibition, will be near another portrait of a very powerful man, Jacob Rothschild. They share a kind of melancholic expression. Maybe it's just something that appears after a certain time of being there, quiet. That was tough for Baron Thyssen, a person that was not accustomed to get orders. The scenographic ambience of his studio is very evident in this portrait. The floorboard, the chair, but also rugs. The whole image of the chair and the seater and the rugs look as if they were falling down. He always normally represents himself from a very low point of view. Whereas when he paints the sitter, he situates himself in a high point of view, like he's the one to dominate the image. The rag started to be a kind of technique device to clean the brushes and to clean the floor, but suddenly Freud started to introduce it in composition. He knew very well Bacchus and Ariadne. A reproduction of this painting was in his family house, living room. We see not only the flowing drapery of the composition, but we see a pile of clothes on a corner. And I think that interested Freud especially. It will appear in many paintings by Lucian Freud. Large interior Paddington is a very unsettling image. It's painted with a bird eye and represents his Paddington studio with his daughter, Eve. The plant is painted in a completely different perspective to the rest. The studio space is again very evident, the wooden floor. We can also see the stains on the floor, paint that falls in the floor. There is a tiny marble. We know that it might be a marble that fell down a torn pocket of the jacket. Eve was not very keen of posing for him. She was shy and very bored. He was quite an admirer of Degas, and they shared something that is very evident in some nudes by Degas, the animal appearance. Many times, Freud's work was interpreted as the consequence of psychoanalytical writings of his grandfather. But he confessed that he was more interested in the zoological interest of his grandfather than in his psychological writings. And looking at his paintings, I think Freud wants us to remember that we are mortals and we are not any more than human clay.